Okay, let's be real. LinkedIn can be a little bit intimidating at first. You're expected to be this professional, to showcase that professionalism, to make connections, to build this professional brand. But where do you even start? So that's why we have this template. You can use this LinkedIn profile template as a checklist to make sure that you are optimizing all of the features available in each section. So grab your template and open up LinkedIn and sign up for a free profile. If you already have one, great. If you're not ready to publish it yet, that's okay. We can still draft everything. But I want you to see how this template correlates hand in hand with that profile so that when you're ready, you can make sure that you have all the features covered on it so that you can go from, I have no idea what to write to, wow, I would totally hire me. I'm kidding, but I'm really not. So let's get into it. On our agenda for this exercise, we are going to fully flesh out your LinkedIn profile draft, which will include your heading, your about summary, your experience, education, licenses and certifications, and volunteer experience, and then any custom sections that you want to add. And then after we have drafted your profile, we are going to talk about how to strategically use and optimize your profile for your job search. First, if you don't have a LinkedIn, venture over to LinkedIn. You can use the link below if you want to sign up. And we are going to collectively walk through this template and create a fake profile for our imaginary friend named Theo. So really, this template is made to help you build out your LinkedIn profile. If you're not ready to publish it yet, that's perfectly fine. You can just focus on adding your information into the profile, just like the example that is provided to you. But if you want to use this tutorial to pause and add your actual information into a LinkedIn profile to publish it, feel free to pause throughout the video and add your information in so that by the end of it, you will have a perfectly ready LinkedIn profile. So we have your header. So this includes your name, your current position as a student, or if you have a job, your job title, or you can put your aspiring professional title. So really, you can use this headline to show where you're headed, not just where you currently are. You can say something like, I'm a student, or I am a senior or a junior at XYZ school, or I'm passionate about this specific career field or specific role. And then we're going to add your city or your intended location for work. If you are not going to be working in the same city you are presently in, if you know which city that will be, go ahead and add that city. Like if you're dead set on like, I am moving to Atlanta, Georgia after school, or New York City, or wherever, you can add that city because it shows that you have the full intention of living there. But if you are applying to jobs in multiple different cities or states, it's okay for you to use your current location or even leave this off if you prefer. This is something, though, that if you are applying to jobs all concentrated in one place, it's great for you to put that location. And then your profile picture and your cover photo. We're going to spend a minute talking about this because these are really, really important. This is your first impression. It not only says a whole lot about you, but recruiters especially look at this to see what kind of brand you are going to give off and could you be a part of their organization's brand. So let's optimize your profile picture first. Save a copy of it to the same folder that contains this document just for ease of use. But you want a high quality resolution photo. You should be the only person present in your photo. Make sure that it looks as though someone else took the photo. So no selfies, no selfie sticks. Wear your professional attire, which should reflect your occupation or field that you are aspiring to enter. The picture should frame your shoulders and above. So what does that mean? It means this frame, essentially. It should be from about your chest upward, and it should have you as the center of the photo. Also, you want to look directly at the camera. Or if you're using a candid photo where your face is slightly turned to one side or the other, just for dramatic effect, just make sure that most of your face is present in the photo. Don't have your photo to where your profile is completely to the side and they can't really see your face. They need to be able to see your eyes in your profile. This is a little psychology trick. Smiling photos are best received. I know it's not the preference for everybody to smile, but it shows that you are warm and inviting and amicable as opposed to being standoffish and more cold. So just keep that in mind. No colored filters on your photos. This is really important. You just want your headshot to be exactly the color scheme of who you are. No sunglasses or hats unless it is appropriate for your intended profession. So for example, if maybe you are going into photography and it's a staple of yours to wear a cowgirl hat or like a fedora of some sort or something like that, that's perfectly fine. But if you are going into like a corporate setting, it's not necessarily best practice to wear a hat or a ball cap or anything like that. And then sunglasses, There are very rare occasions where it's appropriate to wear sunglasses in your profile picture. And then your background should be very simple. There shouldn't be all these crazy distractions. Just to reinforce this from the lesson that we learned on this particular topic, here are some examples of what is considered good profile photos for the reasons that we just covered. And then here are some not so good. We'll just say that they're not bad, but they're not optimal for your profile photo. And I think it's pretty clear from what we talked about that there's several boxes here that these ones do not check. Moving on to your cover photo. This picture should be a high quality resolution photo or graphic. It's a chance to showcase a little bit of your personality or your background. So make sure to have a copy saved to the same folder where you are saving this document. We're going to talk about some of the ideas that are listed in this template that will help determine how you want to influence the viewer's perception of you from this piece of digital real estate. For example, if you want to use graphics, you could use your favorite inspirational quote by either you or somebody else. You could use a collage of your latest school degrees or credentials. I had some friends who actually did this. It was really neat. They had like 3 different school degrees that they just put behind their photo. You could put an inspirational scene related to your profession. You could put your name and title. You could put some icons of your professional objectives, or you could put a company graphic. So these are all things that are super simple but effective to use as your cover photo. And then if you're going to use a photo itself, some examples could be your city skyline or an iconic image of your location, an image of you captured of you doing something in action professionally, ideally, an image that promotes your latest or an upcoming professional business engagement or a resource that you want to promote, and then an image of a business team. So this would be especially appropriate if you're like an entrepreneur and you're really proud of your team. Theo, our man, has a really nice clear cover photo with great background, obviously, in a field that he's interested in, no pun intended. He also has a nice cover photo of him in action with a quote that's meaningful to him. And then for his title, he says, I'm a pre-law student, an aspiring sports attorney, and an NIL and athlete advocacy intern. It's very clear about who he is currently and who he wants to be, because it signals more than just his major. It signals his ambition and his area of interest. So this is important because headlines are searchable and seen everywhere on LinkedIn. That's pro tip for you. Let's kick off this exercise with a few very simple action items. First and foremost, for the heading, you want to add your name, your professional title, and location. You're going to make a plan to take a professional headshot if you don't already have one, and to create a unique cover photo or graphic that tells a story about yourself to upload on your profile. Take some time to schedule about 30 minutes here or there to take that headshot and to create that cover photo if you don't already have one. If you do, just upload it to your profile. And third, customize your profile URL to your name. It doesn't exactly have to be your name, but the closest you can get it, the better. Now, moving on, we are going to talk about the About section. This is your summary. So use the prompts in the template to walk through these 3 parts of the About statement. I'm not going to read them directly, but just try your best to answer each of these prompts in each of these sections so that you can create your own About statement. But essentially, the intro is who you are and what you are known for or what you want to be known for. The body is your story, your experience, your interests, and your unique strengths. And then your closing is a call to action, inviting people to connect, to reach out and explore your work and or exchange maybe opportunities for the future. And this isn't like a cover letter. It's more about you telling your professional story and providing a pitch for any users who land on your profile to potentially follow you and or connect so that you can follow them and or exchange opportunities in the future. So if we look at Theo's, he has a really strong About statement, right? He's followed each prompt to develop this story of himself for anybody new who lands on his page. He says, hi, I'm Theo. I'm a senior at the State University, majoring in pre-law with a minor in sports management. Very clear about who he is. The body is your story, your experience, your interests, and your unique strengths as it relates to what he's done on campus and outside of school. So he lists that all here in this nice, short, concise little paragraph. And then as he's wrapping up, he speaks to the user. He says he's always looking to connect with other professionals in his intended industry, especially those who are like in the niche that he's going for. And he just ends with simple, I would love to connect. So it tells us his identity, his interests, and what he's looking for. Then he backs all of that up with a little bit of his experience, his involvement, and his personality. And then he ends with an invitation to connect. This is a really great format and example of an About statement that would be enticing and inviting for going into this particular career and profession. So I know that this section looks a lot like your cover letter. It's not the same though. It's actually closer to something that you would put into a networking pitch. So think about this as your pitch for any viewer that lands in your profile to see if you're a mutually beneficial professional connection. You're telling your story, your goals and ambitions, and this person, whoever lands on your profile, will say, yeah, I want to follow them and see where their journey leads them, or I want to connect with them because there might be some mutually beneficial opportunities in the future. Take a few minutes to reference the paragraph prompts on the LinkedIn draft template and write a few sentences for the introduction, body, and closing paragraphs to complete your about summary. Next, we are going to talk about the experience and education section. These should be pretty straightforward. You ideally have done your work for your resume at this point, in which you have filled out extensive detail on your education and your experience. That is very easy to copy and paste over into these sections. Here, just make sure that you are showcasing how these jobs, internships, positions, and or your education and your student experience could translate into the field that you are aspiring to work in, or that could showcase your value in terms of the space that you're interested in. So if we look at Theo's experience and education, he lists a few more details here beyond just like the school he attended and the place that he worked, which is great. And it shows his leadership, his initiative, and some subject matter exposure. However, I would suggest that this is very light, and he could list more information here regarding what we just said about transferring your information from your resume over to your LinkedIn. So I would highly recommend that for all of you here. And then just to run through the last few sections, you have your licenses and certifications, any that you've earned, any that support your case, go ahead and list it here and let people see it. And then volunteering is powerful. It really shows your leadership, your heart, community commitment, and especially if you don't have these years of experience yet, it speaks a lot about your character in terms of what you're willing to do outside of your current job and or schoolwork. So just quickly as we wrap up, if we look at Theo's volunteer work, he's showing that he's coached, these middle school athletes and led sportsmanship workshops. It's not necessarily legally experienced, but it is in the field that he's interested in, and it shows and reinforces his connection to youth development, sports, and leadership. And it just also shows that you're human. Your soft skills and service often give as much credibility as your technical experience, especially if you're just starting out in your career. If you've already fully completed the resume tutorial, this is a great base for you to use those details and transfer them here and just tailor them to what you want to showcase on your LinkedIn profile. Now that you have your profile built, you need to actually use it. So with this, we have adding people to our networks. If you don't want to do this right now, I'd encourage you to at least add 10 people. But if you have the time, go ahead and add everybody who you would like to be in your professional network. And where it's appropriate, if you have people that are maybe a little bit outside of your network, or even cold contacts that you don't know that you would like to follow and or keep in touch with over time, or maybe build relationships with over time to network with, send a message to them alongside that. So we'll look at a couple of those examples for that, but just to cover all of the different spans in your network, look at your family, any immediate family and an extended family, your friends, any close friends, extended friends, and even family friends, your school peers. So this could be classmates, teammates, club groups, your teachers, your professors, your mentors, coaches, counselors, advisors, and alumni. This is a big one because there's a lot of people who have graduated ideally from your school over time. So if they are in positions of interest, this is a great opportunity to connect with them, sharing the same stomping grounds and alma mater. Your work, this could be any colleagues or superiors like supervisors, leadership, administration, and then your community. So if you have people in your church, volunteer organizations, or any other extracurriculars, make sure you said to connect to them. And then here are your inspirational contacts. So these are the ones that you would like to be in your circles, but are currently outside your circles. These are recruiters at your dream job, internship, industry, or company. And they are also panelists or guest speakers. So we're going to look at Theo's outreach for just a few people that he connects with. He starts with an alumni who's in the space that he's interested in, and he uses the mutual platform of his specific school and stomping grounds to connect with this person. And then he reaches out to people in his specific dream job or internship, again, in the space that he's interested in, but he just asks them to see how they got started and if they have any advice for him. Nice people want to help people. So this is something really great for you to try to tap into. And then he reaches out to a panelist or a guest speaker speaker that he heard at his pre-law club. And then he reaches out to a recruiter who he sees helps law professionals get matched with companies. So this is a really strategic play. He has a professor that he reaches out to stay in contact with. And then he has a generic message that he could send to his peers that it was great to be in class with them and that he wants to stay connected and keep in touch for the future. And then the last thing that you're going to do is you want to engage with people, posts, and pages in your aspiring field. This is really critical for whenever recruiters are looking at your activity on LinkedIn. They want to see, are you interacting with posts, people, and pages in your aspiring field? And are you posting anything yourself? So do you have any achievements, milestones, or updates that you can showcase on your profile with pictures and links where applicable, where they can go click through them as well and see more about who you are? And then Theo has several engagement ideas and post ideas. So if you don't know what to post, you can look through these and see if any of them inspire you. You have everything you need to begin using your profile. Send invites to connect and build your online network. Start engaging with posts, people, and pages that interest you, and publish your first post. Resume, your LinkedIn is a work in progress. It is something that is a living digital document of sorts that you're going to need to update over time. So even whenever you're not looking for a job, it's really important to stay active. At least the recommended use is like once a week. If you can go like something or comment on something or reshare something in your profile page, that activity is really beneficial for whenever the time comes that maybe do go look for a new job or people are looking to work with you even at your current job. Great work. You did it. You now have a draft for your LinkedIn profile. So whether you were using this template to actually add these details into your profile, or you were just drafting your profile for whenever you are ready to actually publish it, you have everything you need at your fingertips, which includes your heading, your about section, your experience, education, licenses and certification, volunteer experience, and custom section details. And once your profile is live and ready, you now understand how to strategically improve your profile visibility and perception for the long term. So that's it. And now you have your LinkedIn profile template, but you also have your drafted LinkedIn profile. So hit publish whenever you're ready, but know that this template gave you the comprehensive recipe for staging a stellar profile. And once you do, look me up, send me a message that you took this course, and let's connect, because I would love to stay in touch and see where your career pursuits take you. Until then, take care and best wishes to you. And I am always rooting for you.